All right, good morning, guys. This is homework lesson 13, starting on page 108. First question, it says you find a crystal in the shape of a prism, find the volume. So again, this is going to be the area of the base times the height. The base is not the square here, because again, if you'd cut it here, you wouldn't get a square. So the base is a piece that is looking at you here. Does give you some different measurements, so I'm going to just plug those in here. A to B is 2, B to C is 3, A to F is 6, B to E is 10. Let's set that over there. C to D is 7, and A to G is 4. So because it's going to be sitting on this side, guys, the height is going to be 4. So just keep that in mind. Maybe I'll make a little note that the height is 4. Now this one is a little tricky. Okay. The reason that it is tricky, because this is 6, this is 7, this is 5. Again, those are coming, excuse me, right from here. Okay, the reason it is tricky, I can't just draw this diagonal there and then call it a rectangle here, because this is 7 and this is 5. Okay, or this is 6, excuse me, they had different heights. Okay, so I got to be able to figure out this distance, which is 5. And then there is a couple different triangles there that I can draw, or I can divide it into different shapes. The more you can break it down, the easier it should be to find it. So this rectangle is 6 times 5. That's an easy one. That's 30. Okay, remember A to B was 2. So this distance here is 2. Height. So here's where it's a little tricky. This height was 6, and we knew the whole height was 10. So the height of that triangle is 4. 10 minus 6. Okay, so if this is 6 and the whole thing was 7, that means this piece would be 1. Remember, B to C here would have been 3. And let's see, this is the only triangle I need yet. So this is 3. If this is 1, the whole thing is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So a lot of different information there. Okay, so you got to be really careful. Again, this is a tricky one. Okay, they're not all going to be like that. We got a couple tricky ones on today's homework. So what is the area of this rectangle? 3 times 1 is 3. Triangle, 4 times 2 divided by 2 should be 4. And this little triangle up here, 3 times 3, 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. Okay, so now if I add up all these circled numbers, that's going to give me the area of the base. Again, you can go ahead and use a calculator for these. That is fine with me. So it's 30 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4.5. So the area of base is 41.5 times the height. Do you remember what the height was? Height we said at the beginning was 4. So 41.5 times 4, your answer is 166. Oh, it does give me a unit. Millimeters cubed. Okay, question number 2, again a little tricky one. Trickier one, excuse me. Rectangular prism's dimensions 5, 12, and 5, 13, and 10 was cut. To leave a piece like you see here, what is the volume of this piece, and what volume was not pictured? Okay, so what was the volume of this, and how big of a chunk got broken off is what it's asking you. So again, the base, guys, is a piece looking at you. It's a little tricky here again, but it's this triangle looking shape, but it's not a perfect triangle because of this 1 here. So I just drew it off to the side, and I drew it a little ahead of a time here. This would be 5. The whole height is, Again, it wouldn't be 10. That's not the height of my triangle. The height of my triangle is 13. Okay, so again, you could figure out the missing piece here. I'm just going to split it up into a rectangle and a triangle. What is the area of the rectangle? 5 times 1 is 5. What is the area of the triangle? Now the base I know is 5. The height, be careful, the whole thing is 13. I already have 1 here, so what's the height of the triangle? Would actually be 12. 12 plus 1 is why it's 13. Don't forget about that 1. That's where the most common mistake is going to happen, is writing the 13 there. So 5 times 12 is 60, divided by 2 is 30. So what is the area of my base? 30 plus 5 is 35, times my height. Height would be 10. So the volume of this piece right here is 350 cubic inches. But it also asked me what was the piece not pictured. So I'm going to go back to the original and figure out the volume of the entire prism before this piece came out of it. So the area of the entire prism, base time, or area of the base times the height, would just be 5 times 13 times 10. 5 times 13 times 10. The area of the original piece was 650. Okay, now it's asking what piece is missing. So if I started with 650 and I take 350 left, what came off of it? How much is missing from 650? And your answer would be 300 cubic inches. Okay, question number 3. Sketch a triangle and label your sketch with the given measures. If you're stuck trying to use a compass or cutting some straws to these lengths, okay, so you could draw, you could use toothpicks, whatever. If you have a ruler, you could actually measure them, tape measure, you could make it into inches, it's going to be the same thing. Okay, sketch and label a triangle. All it says is I have a side that's 7 and 3. Okay, 7 centimeters, 3 centimeters. I'm not going to actually measure it. It's going to give me a triangle, something like that. Draw one more triangle with these measurements that is not identical. Okay. So let's say the 3 centimeters is now here, and my hypotenuse, my long side, is 7 centimeters. So notice across from my 90 is 7 centimeters. Across from my 90 here is nothing. I don't know the side length, so hopefully you can tell they are not identical. Okay, how can you tell? The sides corresponding with the angles are different. Here again, 90 is between the 3 and the 7. Here, the 90 is not between the 3 and the 7 because it would have to go right there. If you would cut those, they wouldn't line up perfectly. However, you need to say that they're not identical. Works for me. Again, keep track of those sides and angles corresponding with each other. Example 4, select all the equations that are true. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill this thing out so I have all my missing pieces. Remember, vertical angles are equal, so that means C is 30 degrees across from each other. Here's 90, so that means this must be 90. These two must be complementary. These must add up to 90, however you want to say it. So A is 60, same for B. They're across from each other, they're vertical. So now I should be able to answer these questions. Is 90 minus 30 B? Well, B is 60, so yes. Is 30 plus B, so 30 plus 60 is 90. Is that the same as A plus C? 90 equals 90, yep. Is A plus C plus 30 plus B equal 180? If you'd add those up, that is correct. Is A 30? No. Is A and C 30? No. Is 90 plus A plus C equal 180? Yes, it does. So you should have 4 answers there. And the final question. And give us a lot of room to work here for some reason. But it gives us a mixture: lemonade, grape juice, tablespoons of honey and sparkling water. Notice our labels are all different. We got quarts, we got cups, we got tablespoons, we got half gallons. I'm guessing we're going to need a tablespoon since it gives us a conversion there. So we are going to make them all into cups and then make them into tablespoons to get the percent of each ingredient. Obviously, we should have the most sparkling water, I would guess, the highest percent since a gallon is the biggest. And we should have the least amount of honey since we're measuring that in tablespoons. So, 1 quart. Quart is 32 ounces, so how many 8-ounce cups are in 32? So that is 4 cups. Here I have 2 cups, here I have tablespoons, here I have half a gallon. Half a gallon is 64 ounces, which is 2 quarts, so this is 8 cups of sparkling water. Okay, so I'm going to make them all into tablespoons so they all have the same label. So 4 times 16, so lemonade is 64 tablespoons. 64 tablespoons, 4 times 16. 2 times 16, this is grape juice, is 32 tablespoons. Honey, it gives us tablespoons of 4, so I don't have to do anything with that. And sparkling water, 8 cups, so 8 times 16. And that should be 128 sparkling water. Okay, so I'm going to add those things up. 64 plus 32 plus 4 plus 128. That's a total of 228. And it wants to know the percent rounded to the nearest tenth. So 1 decimal point. So 64 divided by 228 be 28.1% of lemonade. Grape juice, 32 divided by 228, 2 decimal points, 14.0% grape juice. Honey, remember honey we said would be the least, 4 divided by 228, make it a percent, that'd be 1.8%. And the last one, the sparkling water, we said that would be the most, with a decimal 2 spots, 56.1%. So lemonade, grape juice, honey, and sparkling water. The key to that problem was we needed the same label, and the easiest one to get to was all in the tablespoon since that was the smallest, and it gave us the hint. Hopefully you caught that we needed to round our answers there to the nearest tenth, so we didn't have a rounding error on our answers. Okay, that concludes the homework today. Hopefully you guys are safe and healthy, and you and your families, and I miss you guys, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.